I need to give back to Korea what they're giving me. I'm really grateful. I mean, I'm gonna cry in a minute, but I'm really grateful. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna cry. I start crying. Hi there, my name is Rahel and I come from the USA. Nice to meet you. Well, I first came to Korea in July 2018, almost 3 years ago. So yeah, when I first came to Korea, actually, long story, but I decided that at my age, it was, I didn't have any grandchildren, my children were grown up, and I was kind of bored, and I was desiring to have a freedom of travel again. Sold my house and everything, and I decided I was gonna go traveling for a couple of years and then go to my other home, which is in Israel. But things got turned around. I was going to start in Korea, but things got turned around because my daughter, who lives in Israel, got married, so I started actually in Israel. So I was in Israel before I came to Korea. Then I came to Korea. I came first to Seoul, and I loved it. I went on many tours, and I met some really nice people, and people who I'm friends with today, even, still. And so I spent 2 weeks in Seoul, and then I went to Suwon for a silly reason, but I was in pursuit of a particular singer who was serving in the military at the time. And then I went to, I wanted to get to know the Korean culture through Korean people. So I applied to work in a language exchange school where I would talk to Koreans in English, and I would be able to get to know people that way, and Korea through the people. I always felt that was the best way to go to a place and learn about a place. So I ended up in Busan, and I fell in love with Busan. And I was, I'm a musician, and I was busking and everything, and I was living near Haeundae, and every day I would have 4 hours of classes with Korean students so they could practice speaking English, and they took me out to show me Busan and their families, and it was really, really nice. And then I would go out to Haeundae Beach, and I would play music by the beach and meet many more people. It was just wonderful. So I really liked Korea, and although I only intended to stay for maybe a month or two, I ended up now almost 3 years. I came to Korea also because I'd never been to Asia and this side of the world, and you know, I've been in Europe, I lived in the Middle East, obviously America, and so I had never been to Asia. So when I decided to go traveling, I decided I wanted to come see this part of the world. But Korea specifically, okay, I admit it, it was from the dramas and the music, but there's a certain history, there's an ancient history here, which is really fascinating for Westerners. Mostly, I think I was really excited to see the palaces and go on those kinds of tours. My favorite place in Seoul is Sejong statue. You know, every time I can get the chance, I go there and I say, "Hi, King Sejong." He's my favorite king. And the music, of course, because as a musician, arts and entertainment really, really fascinated me. It really pulled me in. First of all, I have to say that the dramas are really, really well done, especially the historical ones. I actually saw my first Korean drama by mistake, or by coincidence, or by divine hand, however you want to say. I was bored where I was living in America, in New Hampshire, and after living in the Middle East for so long, I lived in Israel for 22 years, and I was used to a diverse population, multicultural influences and everything, and where I was living was very not that. At one point I decided I want to look for some foreign television shows or something, and by chance I just came to a Korean drama, which I don't know what it's called in Korean, but in English it's called Faith, with Lee Min-ho. It was really interesting because it combined all of the subjects I really like. History, ancient healing medicine and modern medicine, sword fighting, martial arts, and just theater. I mean, it was just so exciting, the whole show, and I was really interested by that, so I just kept watching more Korean dramas, and then I started getting interested in the actors because they seemed to be multi-talented. They could do a lot. They seemed to do their own stunts, they were acting, they were singing and dancing, and the whole thing was just really exciting to me. It was like maybe Hollywood was in the very beginning, I don't know, no longer, but it was really, I took an interest into knowing about the actors, and then finally I came upon a singer which now I guess is the grandparents of K-pop, tvxq, Dongbong and I took an interest in them because musically speaking, their music it was really interesting to me because I'm coming from a folk tradition and where it's pretty, the beat stays the same, we don't change in the middle of the music or anything, and they would change like from a 3-beat to a 4-beat to a funky beat, and with the dancing like Michael Jackson, and just everything was very exciting and very interesting and passionate. The passion here in Korea, I mean, it's really exciting, and that comes out in the singing. So I was really interested at that time in bringing my own passion out in my singing, my own emotions, which are kind of stifled. So that really pulled me in, and I fell onto one particular singer, xiakimjunsu, because of his passionate singing. His creativity, he seemed like he could do anything, color his hair a million colors, his videos were very, very contemporary, very, very creative, and just the way the history was presented, everything was just really, really attractive and pulled me in. So the traditions, the culture, everything else is great. It's kind of curious to me as well that I really zeroed in on Korea. Something was pulling me here. Maybe I had a past life here, I don't know. But I did travel to Japan. I know that Japan is very interesting, but I didn't find it as exciting as Korea. I wanted to travel to the other Asian countries and I haven't yet. And that was part of the plan, but coronavirus came in, but it was really something about Korea that was pulling me here. My family, I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and they're both grown now. My son is almost 30 and my daughter is 33. If you really want to go somewhere they said, just go, Mom, just go have an adventure. They said, I had no reason to really stay. They encouraged me so much that I decided to go ahead and travel because I was itching to travel, to feel that freedom again of, I had raised my children, I'd become a mom and spend a long time in one place or 2 places a long time, and I just really, really wanted to be free. So I think there are many, many good things about living in Korea. The things that I like are, number one, the safety. I think this is one of the safest places in the world to be. We can go and enjoy life at all times of day and night and not worry about any kind of crime or any kind of terrible thing happening. The public transportation is excellent. I don't miss having a car at all. I can get anywhere I want by train, subway, bus, and by taxi if those exist, but around the clock there's some way to get around, and I'm not worried about that. I'm walking, It's nice to get some exercise and walking. I think I like that. I think that the neighborhoods are well organized, maybe by topic, but there's a flea market, there's a medical section of town, music section of town. So if you want something, you just go there. Every neighborhood has a convenience store, has a supermarket, has an outdoor market, has a clinic if you need it, policemen if you need some help. Of course, there's entertainment places you can go to. I happen to live in Sinchon, so there's a lot of students there. There's a lot of activity kind of that way. So there's always something to do, There's always something. There's in the subways, there's elevators, there's escalators. So if you have something heavy or you're carrying the people, honestly, I have to say that the people my age and older are actually the ones who help me, and they just come out and offer. I mean, I was traveling sometimes with a lot of things. I usually have a guitar or something or a suitcase, and it's the people who are older than me who are coming up and say, "Okay, let me help you," and they might pick a suitcase up and carry it up the stairs, for me, and I'm going, wait, let me help you. No, they're just really helpful. I didn't come to Korea to engage in the career that I have now. And I want to say thank you to Korea for accepting me and bringing me into this new life that I've started here. I think that Korea has given me, as a guest, golden opportunity that I don't think I would get anywhere else, especially at this age. Now that I found myself in this career, so I'm like a new student. I'm like a young kid now starting out with something new. And that's what I'm focusing on mostly here in Korea. Busking is my most favorite thing to do, and yesterday actually I was out busking. Don't tell anyone. I need to give back to Korea what they're giving me, and I'm really grateful. I mean, I'm gonna cry in a minute, but I'm really grateful. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna cry. I start crying. So today I talked about living in Korea, the things I like about Korea, how I got here. I'm really happy to be here and grateful, and I really thank my audience, whoever's watching, for this opportunity, for the opportunities that I have here in Korea. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed what you heard so far, do the subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and comments, any feedback. Thank you.